What is going on, guys? Your buddy Rafi at Rafi614 here with episode 2 of my WPL C24 1/16 scale Toyota Helix. And as I said, I'm going to keep on doing episodes until I'm done remodeling or rebuilding or repainting, everything. But of course, we're going to start today by taking this bad boy apart. I've never taken one apart, but I guess we'll learn throughout this video. Yeah, so pretty much we're gonna get started. So far, I think all I need is a Phillips head screwdriver. It has to be thin enough. I guess I'm hoping that this is thin enough. Please don't mind the rust, but you know, hey, whatever. One thing that I did get was that I had mentioned in the other video. I actually was able to get some washers, and that is for all these joints that I had shown you in the last video. Anywhere where there's a screw and stuff. Hold on a second. There we go. Wherever I find spots like this right here. This is not focusing the way I want to. But anyway, you guys catch my drift. I'm going to be taking this thing completely apart, and I'm hoping that my camera actually works with me. It's not focusing as much as I wanted to. Last time it was doing a pretty good job, so I guess I gotta manually focus on a lot of these parts. I know it has to do a lot with the actual angle of the camera, but you know, this is where I had mentioned on some of these parts where it has a little bit of play. I'm going to be putting washers on all of those, as well as anywhere there's a screw. Although all I have is like 20 washers, wherever I can, I am gonna change the washers wherever there's a play, and it's mainly on the actual shocks. But one of the other things that I'm trying to accomplish here is, of course, getting it ready, disassembled, so I can prep, sand the actual body, get it primered the way it's supposed to be, and get it ready for paint the details, all that good stuff. Also, I have my buddies from RC Mafia. They actually wanted to see what size is the actual servo. For you guys that are new into this, the servo is pretty much the steering box. Then I do want to upgrade the motor as well. But like I said, my buddies at RC Mafia, they've been doing this for a couple of years. They're pretty much really good at working on these. This is my first time, so one of these days I'm going to be heading out to their house and doing a video at their house to show all the goodies they have. They said they have plenty of extra parts that we might be able to sort of do a Frankenstein, if I may, with this 1/16. Maybe we could fit some of their aftermarket shocks, and maybe the servo, they might have something that fits there, and maybe some motors. But anyway, let's get started with this, and I pretty much should put it on time lapse because I don't know how long it's gonna take me. But I guess I could start by taking the actual body apart. As I see, I have a screw here, and then I have another screw right there, and another screw somewhere. I'll be taking, I'm assuming, these two screws right here. I'll take the bumper out, and yeah, so pretty much I'm gonna do a time lapse because I'm not sure how long this is gonna take. So let's do this. Almost forgot to mention that let me see if this thing focuses the way I want it. No, it's not gonna focus. Doesn't feel like. Anyway, I took the screw out. I forgot to mention I bought this little plastic little crayon kind of dispenser. Got this at Walmart for 99 cents. I've seen them sometimes in clearance for 50 cents. So I want to keep all the screws and little parts inside this. Very important. You don't want to lose any of these parts, especially me that I've never worked on these. So I figured I mentioned that. All right, let's get back to this. All right, so I feel that throughout the video I should be able to focus on some of the spots where the screws are. So if you look right along there, That is the other screw for the body, right where the screwdriver is. And same thing on this side, right down here. So those two screws plus this one right here and this one right down here are the ones that hold the body. So, yep, let's do this. Alright guys, so here I just wanted to show you guys that the actual front bumper has 4 screws keeping it together. I had taken the ones that hold this and go right there. So I had those two right there holding the actual bumper, but then it had 2 further down in there, so it's a total of 4. 2 on these tabs and then 2 on those tabs, just to let you guys know. I'm trying to be cautious here. I took those 4 screws and it seems like, oh, perfect. Since I took the bumper out, I need to be very cautious with this because I've never taken this out. But the actual, I've seen people take the whole actual body without doing what I just did, which all I did was detach the actual bumper. I think this sort of kind of safe, because if I would have left this on, right now I'm hanging, leaving the whole body attached to the front of the car, and then if you lean this down, it would have put more weight and maybe snapped some of those wires. I mean, it shouldn't be a really huge big deal getting those solder back on, but we got the body out, this actually snaps in, I guess, kind of gets pinched and gets held in place with the same screws from the bottom of the actual body. So now we're down to the plain chassis or metal base, and I'm assuming that this is where the fun begins. I don't know why this camera just acting up on me today, really, on the focusing and stuff. I might be able to lock it into focusing right there. Yep, it did. That way it doesn't affect while I'm taking all this apart. I've noticed that the screws, the main screws to the actual that hold the body in place, are actually longer for the actual cab than the ones that go to all the different parts. For some reason, this screw's spinning and spinning. Stay stuck in there. Alright. Let's see. I'm not trying to break anything. See, these are actually shorter. And that screw stood there. I don't think it's gonna come out. So, alright. So right in here, we're looking at the actual servo, if I may. This actually is what, I guess you can actually calibrate the actual steering. Some of these, I guess it'll be more left and right or whatever, and you get to calibrate the steering. Yeah, I'm assuming this is what actually controls the car. I think it's called the ESC, I believe. ESC or ECS. ESC. Let me check real quick. WPL. Yeah, it is called the ESC. That's pretty much what controls the car. But I'm noticing on some of these, this is the second screw I see that has a little bit of rust on it. Yeah. Anyway, my main concern was this. I got the body out. I can actually take a couple of these screws out, take all of this out. These are just the accessories that just pop out real quick, which I'm going to be painting those as well. But my main concern is painting this. It's just red plastic. It's not even paint. The actual plastic is that color. So I want to sand it down and do a little better of a job. Now, I hope I don't break anything here, but I need to take this out because I want to get an aftermarket the ESC and the actual servo as well. I hope I don't mess this up. If anything, my buddy or at RC Mafia will be able to help me out. We'll take this screw out. See these little tiny screws? This is actually loose now. All the wiring. That's the wire that goes to the actual motor. These are the wires to the actual lights, which is, it has a little plug in here. I'm being mighty brave here. I'm plugging this, but this actually lets go the lights. I actually want to go ham, if I may, on the details, and I feel that the actual housing is not as how can I say? You see how the housing is not as chromy in there, if I may. I wanted it to emanate more or reflect more light as you turn on the LED. So I'm most likely going to try to take these apart and the actual LED lights and everything, so I could paint the inside of the housing on this. I want to paint it nice in aluminum silver. If anything, I could find a way to sort of get chrome paint or something so that when you turn it on, it reflects or emanates more light. And I don't know, when I turn these on, they look yellowish. I wouldn't mind getting some bright white LED on these. Put that aside. So this is loose, and I really think I am going to be brave enough to take this out as well. I believe this is the actual antenna right here. That's the antenna. That's the charging. That's the actual wire to the, that goes plugged to the battery. Then it has this that goes to the actual on and off switch, and then these two right here go to the servo motor, and then the other one goes to the actual motor that's right there, or transfer case, if you may, or if I may. So alright guys, let me finish taking this apart and we'll talk more about what I'm going to do to it. Alright guys, so I'm going to be on and off going through the time lapse and whatnot. So on this, it had an actual screw right there, and it had another screw right here. Now this complete servo right here, this is what actually gives the car, you know, what the steering box, if I may. I took those two screws, and then this, it's like what I mentioned to you earlier. This is how you calibrate the actual the steering, kind of like the alignment on the front end. Had two little screws, and I just took them off. I'm being pretty brave taking all this stuff apart, because I've never done this before, or never worked on one of these. So that's the only thing pretty much that was holding this after taking the other two screws. So I guess I should be able to, nope. Alright, so because this is actually connected to the steering box, this most likely has a little, it's connected to this. Let me see if I can, I want you guys to focus. I do apologize. I would have been doing this today. So this is right here connected to the steering box right here. So of course I got to take that screw off, and I'll be able to pull the servo out. So much play on this, of course, besides the fact that I'm assuming you pull this, pry it forward. I don't want to break anything. Does it come out? Alright. This tiny screw over there. I feel like I'm going to be missing parts afterwards. I'm trying to pry this off without breaking it. I'm not sure if that's exactly how the correct way to get rid of this. But you know what? It's giving me a hard time. If it doesn't come out from the bottom, guess what? I am going to unscrew this. And if I break it, I guess I'll have no other option to actually upgrade this part, the servo, although it's in my plan. So I'm gonna leave that there so I don't mix it. I should be able to pull this forward, and there it is. Voila. All right, so what I like about this right here is that actually it shows, like right now, that's for the LED lights, which I took off, and then FB and RL. Anyway, front and rear, that's how I'm gonna see it. No, this is actually backwards. So this is for the servo, RL. Of course, I could always use this. So if I unplug just the rear one, now I leave that. Okay, anyways, this is very much simple. That's all. That's pretty much the whole components of this RC. You have the servo, the ECS. I was able to unplug the power on and off, which is, it was actually right there. It says battery, and then right next to this K+, that's where the actual on and off switch goes. So the servo, my buddy told me to actually measure it to see if one of his aftermarket servos from some of his cars will fit this and we'll be able to upgrade it. He said he has extra parts, so I wouldn't have to spend money if I don't have to. So, all right, so this is pretty much out. I gotta measure that, and then he actually wanted to see the size of the motor as well. So, for the most part, I don't want to take anything else off. What I am going to do is, like I had mentioned, anywhere I see play and stuff, these are pretty tight, I am going to use those washers that I have, but it's going to be especially on the shocks, because the shock has a hell of a play. So it has a screw right there. Oh my god, this is terrible. That screw right there, holding the shocks, and has a play. So by putting a washer, it'll tighten it up a bit more. So like I say, guys, I apologize. I'm actually using my old iPhone 4S for my videos, as I do most of the time. But for the most part, I'm going to do that. The actual rims are held on by these screws. I'm going to take the wheels off. The tires pretty much pop off. I'm going to be painting the rims and doing some details to it. And yeah, for the most part, I'm going to be painting the shocks, give a little bit of detail, as well as the wheels, tightening up all the screws in the body and suspension with some washers. And of course, I'm going to be painting this bad boy, taking it apart. It's pretty detailed on the inside. Maybe like paint the shift knobs and all the cluster and all that good stuff. So for the most part, I showed you guys how to take the body out. The rest, you guys can sort of figure out. I already told you how the servo comes off. I'm going to be bringing that or sending pictures and measurements to my buddy and see if they have extra parts that I could sort of do a Frankenstein and do upgrade parts with some of my buddy's extra parts. So let me see if I could take all of this, the rest of it apart, wheels and everything, and I'll show you what it looks afterward. Alright guys, so I sort of kind of messed up. I thought I was recording and pretty much fast forwarded to taking this apart. All it is was just 2 screws right here on the side, and this lifts right up. I already took the actual spare tire, which is a pretty much full functioning spare tire, just like the ones the truck has on. It's just held on by a screw in the middle. So what I did was like put it back on so I don't lose it, although I have my little box of screws back there. So this is for the most part what this vehicle's, all the main components are. The actual frame. It's just this flat little curved frame right here, and everything's pretty much attached to it. This is actual metal. Now, I've noticed they have these cross members right here for the frame. This one's plastic. They actually sell two separate ones. They're actually aluminum. They're metal. They go right across, making the body a bit more frigid. And there's one that looks like a box, as well as the one where the servo comes. This is plastic right here. That comes in metal as well. And that is my main goal, is to pretty much upgrade the whole interior of this truck little by little, and making everything metal if possible, because it's a smaller vehicle. So if it was like a 1/10 scale, I've heard from my buddy that although a lot of the parts are plastic as well, like the drive shafts and everything, it's a bigger vehicle. They're a bit more expensive. This is just a somewhat $28 to $38 Chinese RC, Chinese made, made in China. It's pretty cheap, but for what it is, you can upgrade so many parts and make it way better than it is without having to spend the amount of money that the actual 1/10 scale RC crawlers cost. So I very blessed that my buddy actually gave me this as a gift. So right now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try to budget myself at about $36. Could round it out to $40. I'm gonna see how much I could do with $40 when it comes to upgrading. I know I'm gonna save a lot of money if I find extra parts that my buddy said he was willing to spare and give to me, for no charge. I know I'm gonna be able to do some custom decals for them, as I do, as I've been doing. So we'll be able to probably trade some decals and water slide decals for actual parts. So for the most part, this is what I was telling you guys about right here, the actual play on the shock, and it's mostly because of right there. Let me see if this camera. Last time I didn't have to do nothing, but this is what I'm talking about right there. That's why I want the washers, so I could try to tighten that up, and it's not as rattly as it is. So yeah, guys, I don't even know where to continue now. I do want to paint the shocks. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take these shocks. I'm gonna take the shocks apart, take them off. Actually, one screw here, one down there. Cover most of it right here. I don't want no paint, because I don't want that to be affected, or for them to get stuck and not work the way it's supposed to. So most likely I'll leave about, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch down here without painting, and I'll paint the rest of the shocks, and yeah, go accordingly. So man, I don't know what else to say. I really want to do different episodes of this, or more episodes, not just get stuck. So I hope that this kind of helped you guys on knowing how to take this thing apart. I know there's upgrade better motors than this, but I feel like if I put a better battery with the actual ECS and the servo, it should work better than it, or perform better than it does straight out the box. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It's not too lengthy, and like I said, I don't know much about these RCs. I figured I do a video about how to take these apart, and the next episode you guys will see the whole process of me taking these headlights apart, painting the inside, maybe do something with the grill. Who knows, I might add some lights to these little holes right here, and go, as just go by that, maybe while I'm trying to get this bad boy right here, take it apart, wet sand it, primer it, and it's gonna be a 2-stage paint that I'm gonna do on it. Meanwhile, I can show you guys, maybe have my boy come over. I could go to his house and see if we can find some upgrade parts before I order anything. Make sure that he has probably shocks and stuff that might fit. Hopefully he has a servo, so I don't have to spend on that, and the money I was going to use on the servo I could use for these links right here, which I want to get them all metal. Yeah, my goal is to upgrade this whole thing and make it look badass. So guys, hope this was helpful. Do forgive me for the whole focusing, and I know my other video was better than this, but it's just it's dark outside. It's getting cold out here, and I really rather do these videos outside with the sunlight, and I don't have to be using this crazy light right there. This is ghetto as hell. Holding it, and then the focusing of my camera wasn't all that great. So guys, thank you so much for the support. I hope you guys enjoy the video. If you guys have built any of these and you have any pointers or ideas on how I could upgrade some of these for cheap, or for not as expensive parts, then let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe so you guys can see more episodes and see the whole build of this C24 WPL Toyota Helix 116 scale RC crawler. So thanks for your support. Later, Gator.